Today is Toolbox Tuesday. We actually have several people from Priority that are with us today. We're going to be talking about the new, and Justin will put a little bit more context around what we mean by new, but the new MXM POS system. We had an opportunity to see it at the Priority show 2 weeks ago in Dallas. It's really exciting. So at this point, let me turn it over to you, Justin, to kind of provide some context and background on today's discussion.
Awesome. Well, thanks, John. I appreciate it. And yes, John and I did call each other in coordinating outfits this morning, so you got that down. And I need to rearrange my office. I just realized like my bottle of Woodford is like right there, like visible, and all my it just looks like I just got a bar right here, ready to rock. Well, everybody, welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. This is always my favorite day of the week. I love these presentations, whether it's coffee with closers or these presentations. Always my favorite day of the week. I love being the interaction, the opportunity to share more things. And this one to me is really near and dear to my heart. I'm super excited about this. For those of you that partner with with Pay Compass for quite a while, you know that since probably about 6 months into our startup of the company, we partnered with a company called Ovi. I always wanted to have a flagship POS offering. Kind of pull into that kicking and screaming. I mean, I don't necessarily want that, but it's what we need to have. And really, we selected Ovi because of the tremendous amount of offerings, the platform, the solution, the ability to expand on it and really go from a single location clear up to many location enterprise level even. And was really excited about it and had a lot of success with the product. I mean, we have multiple we have dozens of installations out there, but we have multiple large volume installations. Some of our largest customers in the nation are utilizing the Ovi platform. But one of the downsides of it was just there was still some infancy, still some things that need to be worked out on the structure of support and how they can continue to progress on that. And that's when I got super excited when I found out that Priority had purchased Ovi, which is now the relabeled and obviously a lot of advancements, a lot of things that have been corrected and fixed and upgraded over the last year since that acquisition happened. Or not even quite a year yet, but so super excited about the MX POS. And here in the very near future, you're going to see more and more about this becoming our flagship point of sale. The True North name's kind of sitting out there right now, waiting for a new home, and this is likely going to be the new home for that name. We just recently went through Jathan and Rob and team went through the process of becoming a reseller for this product. So you're going to see a lot of more opportunity for us to support it in house, which you all know that we had put Jathan on that, and it's going to be rock solid. So. Just want to give some quick introduction, kind of some backstory to that. I could not be more excited to have a product that we know well, that we know works well. Now have the backing of our largest partner by far. It's just a win-win-win for everybody. So, John, I'll turn it back over to you, and I will pop off here and let you make introductions.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. So we've got on the call with us Greg, Adam, and Jacob, and we appreciate those guys. Adam, I think you're going to get us started, so I'll turn it over to you and let you take it away here.
Yeah, appreciate it, John. Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone for joining and for having us on this call today. So, quick background on Ovi or MXM POS. So obviously, you guys have heard of Ovi before, but we are a full service point of sale provider. And so our dedication lies in delivering white glove service to all of the merchants. So you guys bring in from menu and inventory programming to comprehensive training. We ensure that your merchants become fully proficient in utilizing their POS system to its max potential. And with that, we've designed the MX POS to essentially, have features that are built in that businesses would be utilizing on a day-to-day basis. So as you guys can probably tell, we cater to both the restaurant and the retail industries. We have targeted industries in both verticals. And some of those features that we include or have built in into the software would be custom menu management, table management and layout, the ability to split checks, whether you want to split a check based on the amount of guests or by item, by quantity. We also cater to bars and lounges and have a pre-authorization or a bar tab feature built in. Hold and fire is one of them. Happy hour menu and periodic pricing, you name it, right? So that's part of the restaurant software. And then, of course, on the retail side, we have comprehensive inventory management with the ability to track your stock levels, stock updates, or adjust your stocks altogether. The ability to generate a purchase order for your vendors. We integrate also with scales, whether it's an integrated scales to weigh produce or meat. We also have a scales for Tory scales with an integrated label printer, EBT, food stamps, the ability to return an item and offer a store credit or house account, bottle deposit, and much more. So again, a lot of these features are built in, and that's what kind of sets us apart from any major POS company out there or any incumbent POS out there that kind of impose additional charges for a lot of these added features and software updates or enhancements. So that's part of what makes MX Merchant unique. And of course, amongst other things, right? So you have Passport. I'm sure you guys have heard of it during the Power Conference. We also have Plastic that's coming up very soon. So again, we're going to be offering a lot of features in the future, but for right now, many of them are currently built in or similar to what Ovi can offer. In addition to a lot of these features, we also have what I like to call a la carte services. Amongst those business enhancement solutions, we offer gift card module. And the gift card module is essentially just the ability for a lot of your merchants to accept gift card payment, and that is done through Factor 4. We also have our integrated solution for online ordering via eTab, an amazing platform that essentially is fully integrated with your POS system, and merchants can essentially offer an online or have an online presence that's commission free. Right. And then last but not least, we have our accounting integration. Our accounting integration will allow merchants to automate a lot of their end of day reports and have those reports hit their P&L at the end of the day. So that's pretty much a little bit of background on the MX and POS. And I have Jacob Huey here, one of our quality assurance manager, who's going to go more in depth and showcase a lot of these, feature sets that we deem very important for any business to have part of their POS system. So, Jacob, I'll turn it over to you if you want to go ahead and showcase those features.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen share started here. Is that looking good for everyone?
Yeah, we can see it. Perfect.
Awesome. So like Adam said, I mean, we've got a lot of features and functionality built into our one system. Those of you that are familiar with the Ovi front of house, this will be pretty similar. So just getting into the system is a matter of typing in a PIN. Maybe we're doing a password and an ID, or even if we wanted to, we can go as far as taking that to an employee swipe card if they wanted to. And like Adam was saying, we do have accommodations for both retail and restaurant. Those are our two main big umbrellas right now. So from a restaurant perspective, we've got the table layout. We can manage multiple sections. We can look at our open orders. and you can kind of filter a lot of this as you see fit. When we're going in and doing an order, this is going to be the screen that we're probably going to spend about 90% of our time managing. So this is the menu screen for us. In a lot of other systems up here, these are called categories. In our system, we just call them departments, and those are going to be comprised of the items that we choose to have within them. So that's completely configurable. We can change the positioning, the color, the font. It's really up to you how you want this menu to look and feel. And that's really what Adam was saying when we say white glove service, is we go through all of this with the merchant to try to make sure all of that configuration is to a T what they would want without missing as many things as possible. Of course, like Adam was saying, we can split checks. We can see information on a table. So as if we go back to the table layout here, and I go ahead and open an order, if I put this on hold, it gives us some information here. I can see the table number, who opened that table, what the running total on that table is, and how long they've been there. From a retail perspective, the only thing that we're really going to change is that we're going to kind of skip that table layout. Adam mentioned that we have the retail and restaurant solutions, but really we can accommodate a number of configurations between the two. So they are all one software. So in the event that something in your restaurant has a more retail-based functionality, like selling merchandise or something like that, or even vice versa, if you're maybe a convenience store that has a deli in the back and you want that deli to function more like a restaurant, we can accommodate that all within one system, keeping our reporting in one place and not having too much of a headache around what that's going to mean come time to look at my numbers. We don't have to have more than one account. We don't have to manage our numbers in more than one place. And all of that allows us to do real-time reporting and all of that through our cloud back office. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that over as well. You can see here, this is our cloud back office. So this is just going to give you on this first page a quick breakdown of what today's sales look like. So today we've taken 3 orders. There's $117 worth of net sales. Our total tax collected is $971. This just is good for an owner to have a quick at a glance look for what their business is like. If we hop over into masters, this is where we generally say most of our real power hungry owners, business owners, will kind of take charge of their business. This is where they're going to be adjusting their items, adjusting their departments. If they want to add modifiers, do they want to manage their employee permissions? Because just about every button that you saw on that FOH is configurable, and it allows us to be able to restrict what they can and can't do on an employee role and employee-based permission level. We can look at our customers, we can manage our vendors. Maybe we want to set up an offer and discount or a coupon. All of that can be done through here. Under store/station setup, this is where the majority of our other configuration is going to go. Let's see, give me 1 second. I think I might have timed out in this tab waiting so long. But most of that configuration is going to happen there for store/station setup. So we're going to configure our receipt details. Is there anything there that needs to happen whenever we're doing orders on the FOH and we hit pay? Do we want our dual pricing to show up on the receipt? How do we want that to show? Things like that are going to be configured in store/station setup, and all of that will allow us to do it again in real time. So there are, of course, some other options on the FOH. We just choose to have this bar here as a set of quick operations. That way, if they need to, of course, remove an item, change the quantity, offer an item discount on the spot, they can do that. But of course, we're not going to restrict them from being able to do any of their extra functionality that they need to run their business. All of that is built into these select tabs back here. Like Adam was saying, we have pre-authorization for a more bar scenario. We, of course, are tracking the credit card settlement and the end of day report so that they can get that on their own. And then if we're looking at this table layout here, if I pull this back over, you'll be able to see that when I come into the back office, we've got our table layout management here along with our integrations tab and all of our reporting. So all of that, again, just kind of reinstilling to the merchant that this is all going to get managed through the back office, and the FOH is really going to be where we're focusing on taking transactions and things like that. So moving back to the FOH, we do have a couple of editable tabs that we can add and remove. We have online ordering integrations, like Adam mentioned, accounting integrations with QuickBooks Online or Sage 300. Of course, gift card, that's all managed through Factor 4 so that we can manage and do that across station without having to keep track of balances. That'll allow us to also do multi-location gift cards. So if they're a chain of store and they're moving into multiple locations, but they of course want to offer their customers the ability to use that gift card across all of their locations, that's what that integration is going to allow them to do. And then also speaking to that, we do have, of course, the delivery app integration, age verification scanners for a more bar scenario, and a SMS integration, excuse me. So coming over here, that's where all of these integrations are going to show. Really and truly, we have a lot back here to accommodate a lot of the different merchant verticals that you would do. So retail, again, all the way down to a very standard retail store, but that's not to say that we can't accommodate something with some of our hardware offerings, like maybe a frozen yogurt shop can use our integrated scale, even though they're more in between of a retail restaurant because they're not quite doing full table service or they're not quite full quick service. The same thing goes for the bodega setting where we're doing a combination of things. All of that is really going to come into play with everything being in one piece of software and allowing us to manage that in one place. So really and truly, that's about the gist of the software. I generally like to open up to some questions just to make sure if there's anything that I'm missing or any features that we're looking at if we have.
I'll hop in here, Jacob, and just remind everyone you can either unmute yourself to ask any questions you have or drop those into the chat. Obviously, if there's any of the things that you can see here on the screen that you'd like for Jacob to dive deep into, he's fully prepared to do that. So feel free to fire up your questions at this point. Jacob, one of the questions that came through is it unlimited SKUs for retail, for instance, like in a bodega setting?
So in terms of retail, we're looking at probably about a max of 30,000 SKUs. We did have a previous baseline unit for anyone who's familiar with the older OV unit. We've gone ahead and upgraded all of the internals in that unit. And based on just our internal testing and performance metrics, we're floating around 30,000.
Hey, Jacob,
I'm sorry.
can you just, because I'm sure it'll come up, can you just touch on dual pricing real quick and the way that we handle and accommodate that?
Yeah, of course. So dual pricing, if we go ahead and go into store setup and then payment processing, you'll be able to see here, we have a little section called cash discount configuration. So if we want to choose between enabling cash discount or enabling surcharge, they're going to function a little bit differently. Of course, a vast majority of people in the current era are going to be wanting to go with cash discount. What that's going to do is in this example, since I have that enabled, it's going to give us a 3% inflation on the FOH prices. So if I have something that's $10, it's going to give us an FOH price of $10.30. So when I go to choose cash on that given item, if I come back to the FOH, you'll see I've got $8.24. this is with that 3% inflation. If I go to my payment screen, it's going to ask us, hey, do you want to earn a 3% cash discount while using cash as your payment method? If I click yes, I'm going to see my total go from 892 to 866. So I've pulled that 3% out of the item price, and then this is just my total after tax. Same thing kind of goes for the opposite. If I choose no, then of course I still have the option to pay with credit card on account. If I want to prompt for credit or debit, that'll be something that we configure. But of course, that 3% will still be built in here. And then for surcharge, when it comes to showing that on the print check, we can enable that here. And then this text box here, you'll see the default, we have it set to discount adjustment. But that can be configurable so that if you want to show that as a service fee or whatever you really want that to be as, we can accommodate that as a percentage or a flat rate. And then that will show on the receipt as well as on the customer display. I think you might be muted.
I am. Thank you. A couple questions that came in. Does the system have its own ability to do online orders, or is that only through third-party integrations?
So it's through our integration with our service called eTab, and that will be doing the online ordering. So we'll be able to ingest all of those orders. You'll get a notification on system. We can do a lot of configuration there between choosing to send it to the kitchen a little bit delayed. Maybe we want to wait 10 minutes before we're actually firing those to the kitchen. That way, we're making sure that as they get to the business, they're not getting their food cold already. There's a lot of configuration that we can take hold of there, but that is what that integration is currently.
Okay. And then we had a question about QR codes or tableside ordering.
So QR codes in a sense that we can link it to eTab. Tableside ordering, our current offering would be the PAX A920 Pro or whatever handheld we're going with. So that has an Android-based version of the application where we can still manage the table layout, still manage a tab almost completely like the FOH. It's just a little bit restricted in functionality, but that's what our current solution is for tableside ordering, and that can also do payment.
Okay.
On counter, do you have a front-facing screen that is interactive?
So currently our customer display screen is not interactive, but we are looking at enhancing that here pretty soon.
Thank you.
With the integration to Valor, does the Valor VL110 work for mobile?
So Valor VL100 and VL110 are going to be what we use. So the VL100, of course, is going to kind of need to be stationary and then Ethernet based. The VL110, you can walk around with it. The one thing that I will say is if you wanted to kind of make that really mobile and really fluid, that's where I would highly recommend the handheld device solution, just because when we go to the payment screen here, this POS is still kind of locked into that payment mode. So when I hit credit card and I go to try to authorize a payment, there is a timeout associated with that payment. So I'm going to kind of need to get this transaction done in a certain amount of time. It's not something that we would really recommend. We use the VL110 in a scenario where maybe Ethernet isn't as accessible as we would like, and we just need to go with a Wi-Fi based solution. But really, they're going to function pretty much the same.
Okay, what other questions do we have? Again, feel free to unmute yourself or drop those in the chat.
Hey guys, it's Rob. I'll just quickly follow up on that VL110 question. Jacob, I think you're probably picking up what we're laying down. So we can't necessarily move away from the PAX A920 for handheld order at the table with like a VL500 or a VL110. That's not a direction to move quite yet, and we need to stick with that A920 for tableside?
Yeah, pretty much. As of right now, we
Okay.
don't have a value-based solution to accommodate that sort of workflow. The PAX A920 Pro is going to be the direction that we go in for something like tableside payment or tableside ordering.
Got it. Sounds.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing, but just ensure that you guys have a PAX device also at the station as well. So you can't be using a Valor 100 VL100 and then an A920 for tableside ordering. Just make sure it's both PAX devices.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions through the chat right now. Jacob, I'll ask maybe I appreciate you sharing the dual pricing. Obviously, that's something that's always a question that we look at. We've talked about retail, we've talked about restaurant. Are there other applications or kind of merchants that you've seen this implemented in with success, or is that really kind of the two spaces that would be best for our folks to identify as they're looking to sell this out in the wild?
So, I mean, retail and restaurant, yeah, for sure, are going to be our current bread and butter. That's not to say that we don't necessarily kind of venture out where we can still accommodate. I kind of gave the frozen yogurt stand example, the bodega example. As we're starting to kind of get more and more comfortable with the feature set and functionality, it could just be dependent on what the merchant base you guys are looking at is. We can generally accommodate a lot just because we're pulling in functions from two of the major industries into one software. And then from the Power Conference, we are looking at bringing on Salon here coming very soon.
Is there a failover if the internet goes out on the system?
So we don't currently do any sort of networking management. We're really focused on the POS hardware and software, as well as supporting whatever integrations or payment devices that they have going on. If you do want to do any sort of network configuration like that, that's something that I would definitely recommend in the event that that owner operator has the comfortability to kind of set that up and support. But currently, we don't do anything in that regard.
Okay. And you read my mind on my question. Salon was what I was asking about. I just didn't want to use the term in case that wasn't in the answer.
Yeah, no, of
just
course.
know.
Yeah, that's definitely looking at coming up pretty soon. It'll have the online scheduler as well as employee management with commission-based payment structures and a lot of other features.
Yeah, that's great. I know that was one of the ones that was talked about at the conference, but I didn't want to tip my hand if my hand was incorrect. So, all right. Any other questions from the group? I don't want to end things too quickly if there are questions that live out there, but I also don't want to drag it on longer than we need to. So, I'll. What about hardware? That's a great question. So not on the terminal side, but on the actual point of sale side, what are we looking at from a hardware standpoint?
So our current offering, like I mentioned, is that new baseline offering that we are running with. That's a touchscreen with a built-in MSR reader and a built-in thermal printer. So all of that comes as an all-in-one package so that we're not kind of attaching a printer to the side and all of that. Of course, we've got cash drawers. We do still have thermal printers in the event that you're using them in a bar scenario to print to the kitchen, or maybe something that doesn't require a full impact printer for a hot kitchen. It really just depends on what you would want, but our main POS offering is that all-in-one.
What I I don't want to put you in a weird spot, but if we were going to talk about how this compares to a system like Toast or like Spot On, what how would you kind of side by side these systems?
So, I mean, it's a little bit hard because I don't have as in-depth experience. I'm not as really tied into their product as I am this one.
Mhm.
Some of the feedback that we've given, of course, from the Toast perspective, they do have some pretty large integrations like Restaurant 365, 7 shifts. We've noted that those are some of the things that we're missing, but beyond that, Spot On, Toast, a lot of it seems to come from uh, the change in visuals. Maybe they like the execution of the menu a little better. And it's incredibly variable down to an individual merchant basis and preference.
Adam, you can probably
Okay.
speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll say this. Look, listen, from the FOH perspective, I think every POS out there is at the end of the day, they all have the same feature set and functionality, right? And I say this truly, what sets us apart from a lot of our competition out there is the level of support and service, right? So we have our merchant facing departments, from tech support to client experience and client services. They're basically there to help the merchant with anything they need, right? Whether it's database build or being able to add more items to their inventory, or making sure the flow on the POS is suitable for them to run their business properly. And then we also have our tech team that's available there to help out with any issues, right? So we use TeamViewer and the ability for us to remote into the system and immediately identify what the issue is with their POS system and troubleshoot. That's priceless, right? So in fact, when merchants call in into tech support, the average hold time is less than, I believe, less than 3 minutes. So they can immediately get that service that they need and go back to running their business. And then for you all, right, most importantly, sales support, we have our dedicated relationship management team that's there to help you with onboarding, and then also kind of be the bridge or be that liaison between our internal team and you guys, and keeping you up to date with whatever ticket or whatever pending issue that's going on with the merchant, right? So we have these SLAs and we have these departments to help kind of promote a better user experience, but also a better reseller or partner experience as well. So I think that's what sets us apart truly from a lot of our competition out there.
That's great. And speaking of support, is that support 24/7? Is it just walk me through maybe what those SLAs would be.
So it used to be
Our
24/7, but to be frank with you, we've downgraded that, or I shouldn't say downgrade, but we didn't deem necessary to keep someone on the phone if we don't hardly ever get any calls after midnight. So right now, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the support is Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till midnight Central, and then on the weekend it's from 7 or 8 a.m. till 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, so to just give you an idea, the hours as Adam mentioned, right? Monday through Friday, we're at 7 a.m. to midnight Central Standard Time. And then on weekends, we're at 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. To just speak a little bit more to what Adam mentioned, there was a long period of time where we did provide 24/7 support. And one of the things, or I should say the primary thing that we were at Priority focused on when we took over Ovi, kind of identifying the things that weren't necessarily working the best from an operational perspective. And sure, we were providing overnight support, but those calls were going overseas to India, and weren't being resolved to the standard that we have come to expect. So we've discontinued that. That's not to say that 24/7 support isn't something that we'll offer in the future, but unless we can do it adequately, we're not going to do it, right? So we've got 17 hours support on weekdays, 15 and a half on weekends. And just to, again, give you guys an idea, the call volume that we see overnight, we were looking at 1 to 2 calls per night between those 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. hours, right? So the time that our merchants need us and your merchants need us, we have bodies that are ready and willing and able to answer the phone during those periods of time.
Perfect. Well, at this point, unless anyone interrupts me with an additional question, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Jacob, Adam, Greg, we really, really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with the team today. I know Justin shared with the group last week on Coffee with Closers just how excited he is about the program, and kind of all the opportunities going forward. Team, thanks for joining us on Toolbox Tuesday today. We'll see you next week at Coffee with Closers, and then later this month as we talk about statement analysis on our next Toolbox Tuesday. Everybody have a fantastic Tuesday. We appreciate you.